I even found myself starting to question my own worth. Like, is this what I deserve? And I even had like friends around me like, girl, it ain't nothing else out here. You might as well stay where you are. And it was just like, honestly, if this is the best that's out here, I'd rather be single. I'd rather be by myself because it's not worth my sanity. It's not worth my health. It's not worth my peace of mind just to say that I'm in a relationship. Hey, friends. So I wanted to come to y'all with a message about um, basically choosing yourself so that you can grow and flourish, choosing to let go of things and people that are not serving you, that are not making you better, and how holding on to, like I said, things, habits, or people can prevent you from growing, whether it's having an increase in money, growing financially, or um, growing spiritually, or getting something that you really, really want. I wanted to kind of talk to you all about my experience when it came to identifying the things that were holding me back and things that I needed to change within myself to overcome, stagnation. And a lot of this really came from me being in an unhealthy relationship. And it wasn't my first unhealthy relationship, but it was the relationship that I learned and grew from. So before we really get into the meat and potatoes of this thing, um, things that I've noticed that had changed in my life after I ended the relationship, like my finances literally improved. I started making more money. I was more satisfied in my job. I actually found a better job that worked for my lifestyle, which was something that held me back in a relationship. Like, I did not know how I was going to be able to manage being a single mom and working full time when everything literally just fell into place as soon as I ended the relationship. Like I said, I found a job that allowed me to make my own schedule and work from home. I was making more money. I really was just starting to live the life that I wanted. Like, I was more fulfilled in life, but I found that I had more peace, more joy, and I was doing things that I really enjoyed doing. Like, I had a better quality of life. I was sleeping at night. Like, I stopped losing sleep after I ended the relationship. I lost weight. Um, most of it was like I tried to lose it, but after I ended the relationship, like, I just dropped 10 pounds. Like, it just fell off. And I naturally started to pick up healthier habits. Like, I started eating healthier. I started feeling more motivated to take better care of myself. So these were a few of the things that I noticed improved after I decided to end the relationship. So I had moved out of state for some time, went to school, went to cosmetology school actually, and studied to become an esthetician. And I was actually doing really good working for myself out of state. And then I decided to move back home to Michigan. And when I did, this was just before, this was like 2019. So we all know what happened right after that. And as all of this was unfolding globally, I found myself in a relationship with a longtime friend, or someone that I thought was a longtime friend. And he kind of came in and was seemingly helpful, compassionate, offering me all of the things that I needed at that time. But over time, I started to realize that it wasn't panning out to be everything that it was initially presented to me. So I ended up being in this relationship for 5 years. The red flags were always there, but it was somewhere about about year two, around the time that I got pregnant, actually, that I just was kind of like, this is not going to work, especially with us bringing a child into the situation. I was in a relationship where I was carrying everything. I was carrying everything. I felt undervalued, underappreciated. I was not feeling the love. I very much so felt used and abused in multiple ways. And it was at this moment, that I realized, like, I am in an unhealthy relationship with someone that has no desire to improve the situation because it was working for him. I was the only person that it wasn't working for. So, like I said, it was when I got pregnant and was getting ready to have my second child that I realized, like, I'm going to be doing this by myself, and I need to make a decision, not just for me, but for my children. So, like I said, the red flags were always there. This was somebody that came in just wanting to help. And that always sounds great. It always looks great. But it's important to realize that in some situations, when someone comes in and seemingly has so much to offer, you got to pay attention to how they continue on, or how they are after you decide, okay, I'll be in a relationship, or okay, I'll go on a date, or whatever the case may be. A lot of times you'll see that the love bombing will stop. That person no longer is helpful. The person is no longer buying you gifts, or whatever the case may be. And I noticed this very early on in a relationship, and I started to ask questions. I even made excuses because I did understand that I was dealing with someone that was struggling with depression and, things that he had not been able to overcome. And instead of removing myself from the situation, which would have been the healthy thing to do for me, I decided to stay in it, thinking that I can help this person, I can save them, I can contribute to them, I can help them heal. And honestly, if this was someone that wanted to heal, I would not have had to force it. I was really trying to force this person to heal, to evolve, to overcome the things that was holding him back. So a lot of the red flags were like I said, number one, this person stopped being helpful. Like, he literally came into my life at a time where I needed help or support, and he just stopped being helpful, and kind of just started sitting back and taking advantage of everything that I had to offer. So that was the first red flag. And then the second one was when I would bring these things to his attention, he was very dismissive, and he will only pretend to change, or like he was going to do something different, when I threatened to end the relationship. And I just want to say, even though he would say, oh, I'm going to do these things different, or he might go out and buy flowers, or, I might come home to a bath, that would be a one-time thing. And then obviously he would feel like, problem solved. I don't have to do anything else. I'm in the clear. I'm good. She's not going to leave. And the effort would stop. So over time, I caught myself being a savior to this person because, like I said, this was somebody that I had a long-standing relationship. Literally, at this point in my life, I've known this person most of my life. I've known this person for like 20 years. This is someone that I've known since I was a teenager. So I had a lot of love and compassion for him. And what I had to realize was this was someone that was damaged beyond anything that I could do. I started to kind of become depressed. Like, I became very depressive. I became very angry. I stopped wanting to go out and have fun. My quality of life changed drastically. And it was without me even realizing that it had happened. I was just not happy. I was just constantly fighting for something that couldn't be saved. I even found myself starting to question my own worth. Like, is this what I deserve? And I even had like friends around me like, girl, it ain't nothing else out here. You might as well stay where you are. And it was just like, honestly, if this is the best that's out here, I'd rather be single. I'd rather be by myself, because it's not worth my sanity. It's not worth my health. It's not worth my peace of mind just to say that I'm in a relationship. Like, my self-care started to fall off. I would, like I said, I was a working esthetician. So how did I get to a point knowing better where I would literally go days without doing a skincare routine, or, I stopped just like little stuff that I would do, like going to get my nails done, which my nails aren't doing now, but that's neither here nor there. I stopped caring about my hair. I stopped getting dressed. And these were all things that it literally took me a while to realize started to happen. And I really just started focusing. I got stuck in the day-to-day. So I would go to work, cook dinner, do laundry, help with homework, whatever, go to bed, wake up, and do it all over again. And there was no joy to life. And in between all of that, I'm creating an environment in my household that I do not want to live in myself, let alone raise my children in. And it was just like, enough is enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I rather be single than to be in a toxic, unhealthy relationship. By the time I really got serious about ending a relationship, I had to acknowledge that I had a part to play in it. And yeah, I had things from my past, from my childhood, that contributed to me opening myself up to being prey, you know what I'm saying, to somebody that essentially came in to use me, if we being honest. So I sought therapy. And in talking to my therapist, we talked about the things like self-worth and the sacrifices I was willing to make to be in a relationship versus the sacrifices I was afraid to make to leave the relationship. And once I was able to put all of that into perspective, I was able to take accountability for the part that I played in being in this relationship, and to start. I started to heal myself. I started to change the things within myself that made me seek out people who essentially would not have anything to offer me, which this wasn't the first relationship that I had been in, but it was the pivotal relationship. It was the relationship where I had had enough, especially when I found myself being able to look back at pivotal moments in the relationship where I saw in that moment, this is a red flag. This is not going to go well. You should probably abort mission. And I could say that, I regret not doing it then. Well, actually, I won't say that I regret it, because I don't think I would have really been able to learn the lesson that I learned. And that's how like God will never put you through anything that you can't handle, or that is not for your greater good, because this relationship forced me to look within and see all of the things that I needed to heal, all of the things that I was doing wrong, all of the things that I was lacking within myself, that caused me to attract people that were going to come in and take advantage of the fact that I had trauma as a child that caused me to become a people pleaser. And I have to say, like, that was the main piece. Like, it was the fact that I grew up afraid of not being accepted, or not being received well, or not being liked, or even someone being upset with me. Like, to literally think that I went 30 plus years caring if somebody was going to be upset with me. I don't give a fuck. Care, you got it. Be upset, because if I have to sacrifice my peace, my dignity, my integrity to appease you, then you are not worthy of being in my life. And I absolutely made excuses for him, for the situation. When I ran out of ways to try to help him, that's when I realized, like, I'm dealing with somebody that don't want to be saved. I'm dealing with somebody that does not want to heal. I'm dealing with somebody that does not want to be better. I'm dealing with somebody that's going to continue to take from me like a freaking parasite as long as I allow it to happen. And it's time to bring that shit to a close. And I think from here, it was just the simple fact that I chose to release the situation, that I chose to stop feeding into it, that I chose to stop trying to work on something that could not be repaired, that, you know, it sent a message out to God, because it's going to always come back to God when you're talking to me. That's what you got to know. That I was ready to move forward. And I threatened to put this man out my house so many times that when I finally was done with him, I didn't even have to put him out, y'all. He left. He packed his own shit and he left. And I also had to, you know, acknowledge like the people, I'm not going to say like people that intentionally wanted me to suffer or stay in an unhealthy situation, but people who were not, I guess, supportive in me leaving it. And I had to cut them off too. So my support system, once again, dwindled down to a select few people who were able to say, yes, I do see that you are in an unhealthy relationship and I got your back. And so, needless to say, there was a lot of healing that needed to continue to take place even after I decided to end the relationship. What I will say is, like, I immediately felt a sense of accomplishment, like a sense of relief, because I finally did something that I had been thinking about doing at this point for 2 years. Started to really understand that I was in a really messed up relationship 2 years in. Like I said, it didn't end until year 5. So like I said, there was this great sense of accomplishment, but I had to kind of rediscover myself and the things that I wanted out of life for myself, and what life looks like as a single parent of 2 young children. How will I navigate that? I can honestly say, like, there wasn't a major change in finances because, like, it was all my money. I was living in my house, you know, so the only thing that I really had to adjust to was this person no longer being here. And I just felt freer. I did continue to speak to my therapist about what life looks like afterwards. I started to focus more on my career. I actually made a career change as I was going through all of this. So I was able to focus on my career and kind of get back in touch with things that I was passionate about. And that's just kind of what I started to focus on after ending the relationship. I had already come to terms with not wanting to be in this relationship anymore. It really wasn't like a whole lot of mourning or grief to take place after the fact, because I had already been grieving the ending of the relationship while I was in it. Once it finally came to an end, it was just a matter of finding things that made me happy. I learned a lot of lessons from this situation. It was a lot that I needed to heal within myself. I had to learn how to start putting myself first, my own needs first. I learned how to set very strong and firm boundaries and to stick with it. Like, no, you're not gonna come up in here doing XYZ when I say I need you to do ABC. And I'm not gonna say it's not negotiable, but to a certain extent, it's not negotiable. My terms are not negotiable, especially when you understand your own worth. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I have to offer, and I'm not settling for less just because you don't want to give me more. If I could go back in time, I would just tell myself to focus on myself, focus on what I enjoy, because I really feel like I lost a lot of time being in unhealthy relationships and focusing so much on trying to pour into an unhealthy relationship instead of focusing on building whatever, my own business, or, doing things that I love, traveling. like, there are so many things that I could have spent my time and energy and money doing, where I wasted all of that trying to be in a relationship with someone that wasn't aligned with me, who didn't have the same goals and values as I did. And that was another major thing. Like, I've always accepted people where they are. And that's not to say that that's a bad thing, but I had to realize, like, some people just aren't your people. And you can't force someone to fit in your life that does not align with you, because either you're going to end up having to become something that you are not and don't want to be, or they are. And 9 times out of 10, if you are the people pleaser in a relationship, you're going to lose yourself. And for anybody that's currently in a situation, in an unhealthy or toxic relationship, the first thing I would suggest is to seek help. Seek a support system, family, friends who are going to be honest with you. I will also suggest seeking like a mental therapist. If you are not speaking with one already, find a mental therapist, someone that you can talk to. And I will also suggest, taking the time to look within. To be in a toxic relationship, there is a level of toxicity within you. And you just have to, it's not always the other person. There's something toxic within you that attracted the toxicity in that other person. So you need to go within and heal that within yourself in order to overcome the situation, and not only to end this one toxic relationship, but to avoid entering another. I will also suggest, giving yourself grace. Remember that we're all human. We all make mistakes. No one has it all figured out. No one is perfect. We're all learning and trying to figure this thing called life out in our own way. And the fact that you found yourself in this situation doesn't make you a bad person or stupid or less than. It's just an opportunity to learn and grow and to become a better person. And most importantly, if you found anything in this video useful, definitely like, comment, subscribe, share with anybody that you think could benefit from, my testimony, and feel free to vent. I definitely encourage you to subscribe so that we can continue on this healing journey together, because I may not know you personally, but you got a friend in me, honey. I'm going to support anything that is on the path of upward and onward. And I'm going to continue to spread my message. And I encourage you to, do the same if you feel called to. Until next time.